Kadosh, Boker Or, Mishna Yomi, Masechet Bava Metzia, Perek Dalet, the fourth chapter, Mishna Yudalef and Yudbet, 11 and 12. And Me'arevin Perot Beperot. Okay, so a seller, he's not going to mix grain or produce and all these things from one field to another field. Okay, if he specifically told the buyer that he's giving him grain from one of the fields. So, for example, I'm going to sell you a field, right? I cannot come and start mixing the produce, the fruits, from one field to another field. Even if it's new grain into new grain, right? And obviously, I can't. There's nothing more to talk about if you're going to put new for old. Okay, but in truth, to do with wine, they did permit you to come and to sell the sharp wine with the mellow wine. Nishu must be chol because it improves it. Meaning, to do with produce, kulam yudim, schora chadasha, that's the best. Meaning the new crop, that's the best. The second you're going to come to old, that's something else. So he says, okay, you're also not going to mix wine sediment with the wine from another barrel. But he may put the sediment, it's in its own barrel. Okay? If you have water that got mixed into the wine, you're not allowed to sell in the store unless you tell them. And you have to tell them, listen, there's water here, it's diluted. Not to a tagar, even if you did tell him. Why? Because it's kilu, you're already giving him a way to cheat people. And remember, if it's you yourself, it's okay, you could sell it, but you're not. But you have to tell it. If you're going to give it to the tagar is the middleman. The middleman always wants to make the buck. So therefore, what's he going to do? He's going to come. He's going to cheat the other guys. But if it's the custom that they put the water, they add the water to the wine in order to sell it, so then they're allowed to do that. Okay? Mishna Yudbet. Hatagar. Yeah, when this we finish the Perek. Hatagar notel mechamesh granot venoten letoch megura achat. Right? So here we're talking about the tagar. Again, this is the merchant. This is the middle guy, right? That he's coming and selling. So he may take grain from 5 threshing places of different people and put them into one granary. Right? That means I could buy a little bit from him, a little bit from him, I come and put all of them. I could take from 5 different wine presses, right? The gat is the wine press, and put it in one place, in one vat. But as long as I don't have kavanah to be me'arev purposely, the good with the bad. Exactly. Right? Because that's what you do sometimes. I don't only take from one person. Tachshol publics are only going to buy their produce from one farm. Right? The second that farm doesn't have tomatoes one day, there's no tomatoes, and all the publics, right? Oh, no. Organic, non-organic, yes, but they're not going to tell you that it's all coming from one farm. They will tell you also many times the countries, even though here I haven't seen it that much. I remember in Spain and all those places, on every single fruit, in France also, right? I know in Europe, it's mamash, it has to tell you where it comes from. So tomato, oranges, it doesn't, sometimes you'll have it on the package, it's going to be hidden somewhere, and there is some big, right? The oranges, this place, this place, and big, beside where it's written oranges. Huge, like in big letters. Yeah, where it is. Okay, fine. I told you, Europe. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So they have to tell you. Okay, fine. So now he comes and he says, Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, לא יחלק לכם ואני כליו ואגוזים לתינוקות, ימנה שום מרגילן לבוא אצלן. וחכמים מתירים. Remember, we already learned this Mishnah. Basically, the first shita, which is Tanakama says, Rabbi Yehuda, he comes and he says, you're not allowed to give candies. Why? Okay, the candies was the good old candies, the toasted kernels, right? The wheat kernels. They used to toast them, right? Like toasted almonds. And that was the candies of the olden days, right? So what happened? So he comes and he says, right, that you would accustom them. Meaning the children, they all want to come. Why? Well, they want to get the candies. So he says, you're not allowed to do that. Why? You're bringing them to you. Says Chachamim, you're permitted. Why? The other guy could also give the same thing. So the fact that the other guy could give the same thing, you're allowed to also. Right? You're not allowed to lower the price of the market. Right? Meaning, not price gouging. It's the exact opposite. What is it called? It's like a loss leader. But okay, there's a question about that. But to do with the loss leader, right? The loss leader is basically that you're going to sell something, even if it's going to be that you're even making a loss, to attract the people in order to get other things. Yeah, exactly. You come and you sell the milk for hardly like mamash, in order that they come in and then they're going to buy everything else, and he's making the money on everything else, not on the milk. That's called a loss leader. Yeah. What? Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, fine. Chachamim say, Zachul Letov. You should remember it for good. Let him bring down the prices. Let him bring down the prices. Zachul Letov, he'll be remembered for good. Fine. Lo yavoret agrisin. Right? A person should not sift the waste from the crushed beans, right? Because when you take away the waste, it doesn't justify the higher price that you're gonna because now they look like nicer looking beans. So the man that call up solet, right? And now you're gonna charge more, but it's not. You're not allowed to do that. So those are the words of Rabbi Shaul. Chachamim say you're allowed to do that, right? Why? Because he's not being fooled, right? He's willing to pay a higher price because it's already clean. So אתה משלם יותר בגלל זה יותר נקי. Right? You're paying more because it's cleaner. ומודים שלא יבוא מעל פי המגורה, but the Chachamim, they do agree that you're not allowed to sift it on top of the bin, right, while leaving the beans underneath unsifted. שאין לנו כגונב את העין, but then, what you're doing is you're just deceiving the eye. But then, יש לך רק את השורה העליונה הנקי, right? You only have the top one, which is clean, and all the rest is not clean. So כאילו, you're just being menameh with the eye, you're just cheating the people with their eyes. Okay? ואין מפרנסים, לא מפרקסים, sorry, את האדם, right? You're not allowed to improve the look, right, of one which is selling, not of a person of a Canaanite slave, meaning some people, they come and they artificially, right? And nowadays you do everything with artificial intelligence, right? But what are you doing? They artificially come and they want to improve the looks of a person. Why are they doing that? In order to make the good sale. So they're going to come and they're going to make the animal look great. Right, the animal was ala panim, but I groomed it. I made it look very, very good, and then I sold it for a good dollar. And I did the same thing for the kelim. I did the same thing for an adam. You're not allowed to do such a business, such a thing, right? Again, you're cheating the guy. Was the way of the law.